In this video, we'll discuss Java synchronization. So what is Java synchronization? Java synchronization provides capabilities to control the access of multiple threads to any shared resource. But what it actually means? When you have multiple threads operating on a shared resource, they may all be modifying the behavior of that shared resource. But each may have a wrong value of that object. And that could create consistency issues. So what we can do in this case is we can use synchronization to serialize the access to the shared object to multiple threads. So we use synchronization to prevent interference from multiple threads and to avoid consistency issues. Now, thread synchronization. There are two types of thread synchronization. One is mutual exclusive and the other one is cooperation. So in mutual exclusive, we have synchronized method, synchronized block, and static synchronization. And in cooperation, we have wait, notify, and notify all. So cooperation is more of an example of inter-thread communication, where the two threads are communicating with each other and asking for each other to wait and to resume. And we'll be looking at example of wait, notify, and notify all in the future section. So mutual exclusive. So synchronization is a modifier in Java which is used for mutual exclusive lock. With the help of synchronization modifier, we can restrict a shared resource to be accessed by only one thread. And there are three ways to use synchronization modifier: by synchronized method, by synchronized block, and by static synchronization. If an object or block is declared as synchronized, then only one thread can access that object or block at a time. No other threads can take the object or block until it is available. So when you define synchronize either on the method or an object or on the context of a static, then it has exclusive lock. So the thread who is trying to access that block, method, or static method, then the thread has exclusive lock and no other thread can modify without first thread releasing the lock. Synchronization is built around an internal entity known as intrinsic lock or monitor lock. Every object has an intrinsic lock associated with it. A thread that needs exclusive and consistent access to an object field has to acquire the object intrinsic lock before accessing them and then release the intrinsic lock when it is done with them. Intrinsic lock. So every object inside the JVM has internally a lock. And synchronized keyword tries to acquire that lock of the target object. So synchronized method intrinsic lock. So in synchronized method, the implicit lock is this, which is the object used to invoke the method. And each instance of this class will use their own lock. Let's look into an example. A new instance of object has three methods. Method A and method B are synchronized and method C is not synchronized. So now we have two threads operating on that object, and one is trying to access the method A and the other one is trying to access the method C. So the first thread get the lock on this and continue executing the method A, and the second thread don't require a lock on method C, so it continue executing the method C. But now if we have two threads and those two threads are trying to modify method A and method B, then they cannot, because in this case the first thread got the lock on this object, which is the instance of that class. So the second thread has to wait to get the intrinsic lock of the class or the object in order to modify the method B. Now what is synchronized static method? So once you have a static method declared as synchronized, then the lock is the class object. And all instances of this class will use the same lock. So in this case, the lock is the class level. So if, let's say an example, we have method A and method B both defined as static synchronized, and there are two threads who are trying to access those methods. So threads have to wait. If thread 1 has a lock on the class object, then thread 2 has to wait to get the lock before continuing on and modifying the method B, and wait for the thread 1 to release the lock. Synchronized block intrinsic lock. So in this case, the implicit lock can be instance or class. So inside the synchronized block, you define which variable or object, which object you want to have this lock on. Or you can use interface lock inside the synchronized block.